All right, hi everybody. Welcome to the TPACK Teacher Cooking Challenge, as I'm calling it today. As you will see in my post, my gracious husband has offered to be my volunteer, and I asked him to pick a plate, a bowl, and a utensil for me. And he is Italian, and we have a lot of cooking utensils in this kitchen. So he picked a normal dinner plate for me, a small metal mixing bowl with a round bottom, and a rubber spatula, or like a brush, which is quite difficult because then he picked challenge number 3, which is making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So before I attempt to start doing this, I thought, how am I going to do this with this guy, especially since my peanut butter is kind of on the low side. I don't know if you can see in there that well. So before we get started, I thought I'd actually do the jelly first. If I can pop that off. The best thing I could think of was to take this off because you can kind of turn it into just a plastic rod. So I'm gonna use that to make my peanut butter and jelly. And I know it's really strange, but my mom, and this is just like one of those weird childhood things growing up, my mom always taught me to start with the jelly first because you end up with like a jelly filled knife. So then what you do is you take the clean piece of bread, I guess, and wipe it off before you go into the peanut butter, so then you don't end up with a jar full of jelly in your peanut butter, which I'm sure was probably my mom's way of making sure us kids weren't super messy. And as I'm thinking about it, maybe I'm cheating a little bit. I'd like to think of it as being innovative on my PB&J. Even though I'm not using the brush part of this, it's still part of the spoon, right? So then I'm just going to close my sandwich, and there we go, PB&J sandwich. Unfortunately, we've already eaten dinner. Now, I know this is probably a little strange to think about, but as you can see, the tools that I was given weren't purposeful. Like, this bowl was not used at all. It isn't needed in this situation. This is kind of similar to what happens in our classrooms. We're giving tools, but not always thought through what they're needed or what their desired outcomes are. If this weren't a challenge, I would have grabbed a knife right away without even thinking about it to make a PB&J sandwich. Kind of similar to our classrooms. If a teacher or a co-teacher or somebody asks you to start writing, most of us would grab a notebook, a paper and pencil, maybe there's like a binder for the class. But sometimes that gets our desired outcome. Like a knife would get me a desired outcome if I were asked to be told to write and grab a pencil or write an essay. With a pencil, I'd hit the desired outcome. But if we start to explore different avenues, different methods, different tools, different strategies, such as what TPACK lends us to, it's a different framework. It gets us thinking about our content and how that can be explored through technology, how our desired outcomes can be created through a different platform. To see and understand a little bit more of what I'm talking about, you can check out my blog, which I will put in the link, or at least in one of the comment sections. And I hope to see you around soon. Bye, friends.